We're not going to laugh at that joke very soon. Perhaps a slightly different perspective on our Christian conundrum. This is Wretched Radio. Let's go, Brandon. It's being discussed. I didn't think it would need to be discussed in Christian circles whether or not a Christian should actually utter a euphemism, dropping the F-bomb on the president, but people are because of what happened in a church. An outside group came in and started chanting, "Let's go, Brandon." The atheists are appalled. A lot of Christians, but not all Christians, are appalled at it. And Stephen Byers, great pastor in Indiana, wrote an opinion piece stating, hey, we're called as saints. We're to be salt and light. We're not supposed to be vulgar people. If I might just push that up for us, we're higher. We're supposed to be loftier in rhetoric. We're supposed to be different in our behavior. And I'm not talking dress like the Amish. I'm saying we're supposed to be radically different. And I hate to invoke a character from a movie portrayed by an actor, but I'm still thinking about the movie that I just saw called Worth. Stanley Tucci, who was playing Charles Wolfe, who lost his wife on September 11th, was absolutely appalled that the government, as represented by Ken Feinberg, played by Michael Keaton, was going to try to put a dollar value on lives that was different for each life. I don't think that he was opposed to receiving a benefit from the government. I don't think that was the issue. Like, how dare you diminish human life by putting a dollar on it, a dollar sign on it? That wasn't his issue. It was that this person apparently is worth more, because if money represents worth, and it does when we just keep it very, very finely defined as stuff and their value, as opposed to the value of a kind and gentle spirit, the value of a memory, the value that money represents is powerful. And he was shocked when the government said this life is worth more than that life. Now, he played the nemesis. Michael Keaton was tasked to accomplish this chore and to have at least 80% sign up for it. And Charles Wolfe was very polite. In fact, the first meeting that Ken Feinberg held with all of the surviving families from 9/11, he was getting booed. He was getting jeered. And guess who stood up? Charles Wolfe. Excuse me, everybody. I lost my loved one too, but I came here to hear what this man had to say. So perhaps we could just listen to him. Look what, whoa, says Christendom. We don't do that to our opponents. We don't practice politeness. I was so struck by these two men being polar opposites at the beginning of the movie, talking to each other in such a civil and respectful way. And I just thought, I wish I could be more like Charles Wolfe when I talk to people who disagree with me. And let me tell you, for whatever this is worth, my prognostication of the future is you're going to find yourself disagreeing on probably a fair amount of things. We're already seeing that, aren't we, with COVID? I think this, you think that, we're done. How does the church respond? I think this, you think that, we're done. Romans 13, I'm telling you, that's going to be a Donnybrook chapter. That's going to be, how are you going to treat somebody who disagrees with you on a Bible verse? Forget Romans 13. Somebody disagrees with you, how's about this one? Deacons. Should they be women and men or just men? And there are going to be good Christians who disagree on this. Now, if they have it right, they're going to say, no, that's not what 1 Timothy 3 says. But if somebody disagrees, love you, bro. Love you. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be writing a paper on this against your position, but I just wanted you to know I love you. Get ready. Because if we don't start perhaps recalibrating, I know my heart has to be dialed back in this regard and dialed up in other regards to to being able to civilly discourse with somebody who disagrees with me. Now, we're talking about secondary and tertiary issues, not essentials. That's mark those which cause division and avoid them. That's what we do with false teaching, false teachers, heretics, people who are outside of orthodoxy. And we can respond to them, whether they're a teacher or just an adherer, at different levels of volume and even language. There can be a time to call somebody a whitewashed tomb, twice the son of hell, a dog. Yeah, that language can be used. We need to do it very carefully, but I'm not talking about that. You remember the joke? Still one of my very favorites. The man is on a stranded island, on a desert island, rather, and he's all alone, 20 years. Ship comes by, captain comes on shore, sees 3 huts, says to Gilligan, 3 huts, one guy, can you help me out with this? And the fellow said, well, sure, that's my house. That one there, that's my church. And that's my former church. We're not going to laugh at that joke very soon. It's not going to be funny. It will be like the day when we used to be able to satirize the world's thinking. You can't now. You cannot come up with something so fantastic that it isn't within the realm of possibility. If we don't start thinking through okay, let's go, Brandon. I cringe at it. But if you are essential in orthodoxy, you've got cardinal doctrine straight, and you thought, well, I didn't think it was that bad. Okay, bro, disagree with you. Okay, okay. And speaking of which, Jimmy, did you disagree with me on the Let's Go Brandon or Steve Vyer's comments?
I did not.
Oh.
I did not.
Well, then I guess I can still like you.
You know what that reminds me of, though? It reminds me, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but it reminds me of a Charles Spurgeon quote that I read recently. Spurgeon said, do you want to look at your spiritual maturity? Do you want to gauge your spiritual maturity? How well do you disagree with others?
Oh, wow, that's pithy.
Yeah.
All right, you bring up Spurgeon. I'm thinking of Newton. I think we've shared this here on Wretched Radio. He wrote to a friend, a brother in the Lord, who was going to write a public newspaper article criticizing another Christian. And wow, his letter is so instructive. And because not only did he give him advice and urges to do this in a godly way, he wrote it in a godly way, a God-honoring way. He actually practiced what he was preaching to this fellow. This is a temptation. This is a ditch, and I get it. I don't want to sound like a radio talk show host. I don't want to sound like Fox News. Breaking, everything is crashing down. But I think we're headed toward being the man on the desert island. Who am I going to be able to fellowship with? Because I'm not going to find anybody who agrees with me totally on everything. Neither are you. And these issues are important. These issues need to be debated and discussed and talked through. But maybe we can do it in the spirit of Christ. Oh, I was going to say congeniality. No, of Christ. Because we're all in the kingdom, going to be in heaven together for a long time. We're going to spend eternity together, and I don't think we're going to be getting up from the table going, I can't sit at this banquet with him. He chanted, let's go, Brandon. It's not going to happen. Why are we acting that way here? We need to be called up to higher. We need to model this for the world and for the sake of being a saint and salt and light. We are the visible representative of the invisible God. I'll work on my heart. Might I just challenge you to do likewise? And perhaps not label everybody apostate because they disagree on so issues that are just not deal breakers. Jimmy, anything else on Let's Go, Brandon?
Yeah, I would say that the thought that I had as you were reading that article was that even the Christians who make excuses or agree with it, maybe I don't, and like you, I don't utter the Let's Go Brandon chant, but what have I uttered?
Sure.
Where have I compromised?
Oh, you know what? Now, remember what Paul said. This is a wicked and perverse generation. Okay, that's a correct descriptor. He used those terms. And I can too. How I say certain words, because certain words are going to be off limits. I think the F-bomb qualifies for that category. But we can use words to describe it. But there are lots of ways that I can deliver it that is, it just pushes me over the line of being a correct describer to being somebody who is murdering or being a talebearer. Yeah, that perv in office. Could you say that person is perverted? Well, sure. Because if that's what he or she is doing, sure. Calling somebody that pejoratively, I think we're called to higher. I think we're called to better and loftier and gooder. And I want to try to just move in that direction a little bit, and would ask you to perhaps consider moving in that direction too. Until tomorrow, go serve your king. You're just watching a one segment from the 4 segments that we do every single day on Wretched Radio. If you'd like to watch the whole shebang, you can do so at wretched.org. I'll be needing to see some identification, young man.
Why?
Because you, my friend, are a lawbreaker.
No, I'm not.
You are, according to this video from Ray Comfort. Production, I need the clips on time.
911, what's your emergency?
We met about
Yeah, he asked me to
this.
become a gospel partner, and he took my credit card.